Hi, and welcome to Family Law Friday presented by Florida Women's Law Group. My name is Betsy Corbett and I'm in the marketing department. Family Law Friday is designed to be a resource for women with a family law issue. Today's topic will be divorcing with adult children, which is a whole different dynamic. But before we get started, I wanted to give you some information about our host, Heather Quick. Heather is the founder and owner of Florida Women's Law Group that advocates for women in North Florida. The firm educates and empowers women on the law so that they can find the strength to endure the process and end up better both financially and emotionally. She's been a licensed Florida attorney for the last 20 years, with the majority of her practice being in family law. Please join me in welcoming Heather Quick to Family Law Friday.
Thank you so much, Betsy, and thank you for joining us today. And we are continuing our series discussing divorcing basically through the years with your children at different ages. And we have touched on the younger children, we've touched on the teens, and now we're going to talk about adult children. And where I'm coming from on this one, just like the others, is, I've had the honor and pleasure of so many women trusting in our firm and walking them through this path over the years. So I've seen many issues that come up, and myself, having experienced as a child of divorce, and I got to tell you, at young age, teenage, and young adults. So my parents, are true believers in getting married, but not to each other each time. But so I know like what has gone on, what I've seen, so I can relate. I can understand how the kids may be reacting, and I can also, from personal experience, tell you what's probably going to happen, at least help you know what to expect. Because knowledge is power, as I've said before. Educating yourself on potential things that can come up. We don't know for sure, but at least if you've heard it, and then when it does, you won't feel so alone, and you'll know, okay, I'm not the first person this has happened to. Let me figure out how to get through it. So let's just talk about, I'll start with the finances, which I did on the other one. Okay, as we all know, they get more and more expensive every year, as long as they continue to grow. And when I'm talking about young adult children, we can kind of talk about when they're in college and beyond. Hopefully for all of us, our children, after they leave for high school and go to college, they stay and keep going and growing. This year, not so much. And that really has impacted several people. Who do they come back to live with when school shuts down and it's all virtual? Well, they certainly want to be somewhere where they're getting meals and laundry and cleaning. They don't want to do it themselves. And that's tough, because that's going to impact your bottom line. And so those are things to consider. And then if there has been a pattern of gifting and, financial support for your children, over past college and over that age, how does that look post-divorce? And I have seen so much, sometimes, or all the time, financial decisions and money issues can be extremely emotional for people, because it goes back to this money story that they grew up with. And it's fascinating, because I see that, and that's why I talked about in other videos you watched, money, sometimes that's a big part of divorce, is just the inability to come together on how we think about money and how we approach money. So then your kids don't know either, because they've seen this and there's never been a real cohesive way. So if it's always been whatever you want, even if we're going into debt on your behalf, they're going to continue to expect that. And so I'm just laying it out there, and I'm going to tell you, if you're getting alimony, you're not getting enough to continue that behavior. You aren't. You're going to have enough to take them out to dinner and do things like that, but not pay their rent at their apartment, not go furnish their apartment and things like that. And, depending on where you are situated after the divorce, you have limited resources. If you got half the assets, what, your financial plan is and where you are in the future. And this is mostly an issue when, you know, the divorce is happening and now they're in their 20s, not where you got divorced back before, because you guys have had to really establish a lot of things, because this is going to be new to them. It's going to be shocking. So depending on where they are, let's talk about some of the big financial things that are going to have to be discussed. And you really, really need to have a lawyer that understands this and helps you discuss it, and to the best that you can come to an agreement. And I say to the best that you can because adult children are not required to be supported. The law, there's no requirement, and the judge is not going to consider it. So your husband can tell you all day long, I'm paying for college, but the judge can't make him. And there are ways to, you know, really try to put some teeth into that as a contract. But, you know, the best thing is to maybe set accounts aside that you know, agreed those are for the children only. That has to be by agreement though. And, you know, that can cause some issues, of course, because then the, you know, one of the, and this is a really, it's a really crappy thing, but you know, your husband will say to the kids, oh yeah, I don't know if I can pay tuition. You know, your mom, she wants all my money. You know, we all know that's a bunch of BS, totally manipulative, make you look bad, make him look like a victim. Don't fall for that. You need to tell your children that too. That is not true. And I'm not going to discuss it with you, but it's not true. And if you take the high road, stick to the truth. Don't disparage him. As I've said before, you'll be better off in the long run. There's weddings that are going to happen. And, you know, if you got girls, you know, what is the expectation? Those are things that at least we could talk about through the mediation. And maybe, you know, you and your spouse may or may not. But if it's possible, it's a great thing to at least say, this is what we're going to try to do. Or, you know, he's making a lot of money and yeah, he's going to have to pay you alimony, but he's going to continue to double, you know, maybe come up with, you know, unless you're, you know, still making more than me, you know, or, you know, making up for the alimony, then you pay for this or whatever. I'm just giving you some creative options to consider and think about, because we can get creative in a divorce. And yes, if you're going to mediate, you have to agree to some things. The judge isn't going to require you to pay certain things for your children, but at the end of the day, hopefully you both want to, but when you're in the middle of a negotiation and a power play, it's not always that easy. You know, it's so much with the expectations and the finances, that if you can talk about it, they may not like the conversation, but at least they're not out there wondering, and you can at least, you know, try to air it out for both of you, for all of you. All right, now I want to talk about some things that happen when you are divorcing and your kids are like in their 20s, 30s. And I've seen this because I just want you to be prepared and prepare yourself. Very likely, you know, hopefully your children will go on and marry and have kids, and great. Now, how do we do the holidays? Because you're going to want to spend the time with them, but then is he going to be there? I share this with you so that you can begin to think about that kind of stuff and understand it may be different. And you're going to have to, you know, look at that. And therefore, the more work you can do through the divorce on your mental health and therapy, that will allow you, and you'll be better equipped to deal with those things in the future. You know, many times, and this is not only the men, I will tell you, you know, you remarry, either one of you remarry, and you're marrying someone, well, ideally, you know, within your age bracket. They have kids too. All right, well, your kids are adults. This is just some personal advice. You know, I would slow down on being like, oh, you have stepsisters and stepbrothers. And your 20-year-olds aren't going to be all keen on that. And frankly, not your 30 or 40-year-olds either. So understanding that that may not be of interest to them, I think goes a long way. And not forcing new people that you're calling family on your adult children. Many times it's hard because, you don't see it from your children's perspective. But my goal for all my clients is that as they move through their life after this divorce, they grow and they do have those opportunities, but you still have, your children, and hopefully those relationships stay great and you're able to grow with that and, understand their feelings. And probably depending on how they feel about it has a lot to do with maybe the relationship the two of you had at the divorce and how much they felt they could speak to you on those kinds of things. And then, we talked about holidays, but what all parents, live for, from what I understand, is when they have grandchildren. Well, how great is that? Now you get to see your ex and your children and your grandchildren. So all I can say is I've watched my parents come together. I have one picture, maybe two, of the two of them with all their grandchildren. I don't know if I have a recent one, but because we've added some since then. But it means a lot to your kids if you can put away the animosity you have for your ex as they're building their future. And I know that's not easy because I talk to so many people, and I know, that it's not easy. They try, but you got to do more than try. You really got to do it because you want to be a part of their future. And, hopefully your kids love you both. You may not care for him at all. Obviously you don't love him. You divorce him, or you may still love him, but you just don't like him. You certainly don't want to be with him, but that's healthy for them that they do love both of you. And I kind of think all kids, that's all they want. Just get along. Just be nice. You made my life hard enough. I don't know what most kids say. I don't know. Mine are pretty much there. They have more growing to do. So I'm sure I'll have more to be blamed for in the future. But it's not to make it easy. You got to make them do stuff they don't want to do. But I just know that I've had so many women and they do worry about it and they dread it. And if they can get to the point where it doesn't hurt so bad, but that their kids enjoyed that opportunity, I think that really goes a long way in understanding and knowing that those kind of things are going to happen. Life is going to continue to go on, which is a good reason to heal yourself and go on with your life too, because that feels so much better than living in anger and regret. Go through this divorce knowing your opportunity to start over is going to be great. And you have so much to look forward to. And it's just fighting for yourself, getting the right attorney who sets you up for success in your future. And then you can be happy. And you can then give so much more to your children, your grandchildren, your future. And just live at peace, which is really what most people are looking for when they get a divorce, because they're not at peace. There's no joy. It just doesn't work. So don't you want to be that person who got rid of the situation that was not benefiting anybody and moved into a better situation that's helping everybody? And counseling, that always is up there and works. But once the kids get to be adults, I think the counseling is just going to have to be you. And you're going to have to work with somebody to figure out how are you going to show up for your kids? How are you going to deal with your ex? Because you thought you were done, but oh no, there's going to be family events forever. And I know you both want to be invited to them. So it's good to work on those things so that you can show up and be there for them and feel good about it and feel healthy. So that was a lot based on experience in life and during certain situations. Of course, there are financial considerations that when we're planning your divorce, it's important to be thinking, hey, what's coming around the corner? How are we going to address those issues? And, if you are in that situation or know somebody who is, we are here for you. That is why I started this firm, for women just like you. You don't want to go through this alone, and we don't want you to. And we don't want you to go through this with somebody who just, goes through the motions. You need a good strategy and you need a great team who's going to support you and guide you through this process so you have this future that allows you to be a better person and give more to everyone else. So thank you so much for watching today. And Betsy's going to tell you how to reach out to us.
Thank you so much, Heather. Again, great advice to our women out there. And thank you so much to everyone that listened in today. We are here for you, whether you have an issue divorcing someone and you have adult children or any other legal issue. Please give us a call at 904-241-0012. Thanks and enjoy your day.